Good morning, good
Thank
afternoon, good evening, depending on the location. And a very warm welcome to the first Global Cotton Brazil webinar of 2026. It's an honor to have you all here with us today. My name is Celestino Zanella, cotton grower and Vice President of Brazilian Cotton Growers Association. This initiative is a key step in our ongoing strategy to bring Cotton Brazil even closer to our customers. Our goal today is to provide you with a clear and objective update on, first, the current status of Brazilian cotton production. Second, our export and logistical up-to-date. Third, and some key technical insights to help you run your spinning mills using Brazilian cotton, achieving maximum performance. As part of our 2026 agenda, I'm also happy to announce that we will be holding three technical webinars throughout the year. Each webinar will dive deeper into the strategic and operational topics to support your mill efficiently and cotton searching decisions. I wish you all a high productive and engaging event. Thank you very much.
you very much, Mr. Zanella, for your welcome remarks. I also would like to say a good morning, a good afternoon, and good evening, depending on the location. We have a lot of origins, a lot of countries join us today. My name is Fernando Hatti. I'm the manager of Cotton Brazil program, and I will be your host today at this first webinar of a total of three that we have during the 2026 year. And I would like to start just with a guideline for our audience. We have a lot of Brazilians also join us today. We are talking about cotton growers, we are talking about field managers, gene managers, people from the state associations affiliated with Abrapa. So just to I would like just to say something in Portuguese, just to uh, guarantee that all of our audience will also follow all the content in Portuguese as well. Ah, então, pessoal, quem estiver no Brasil, bom dia a todos. Nós temos um tradutor aqui hoje, o Terry, conosco, e aqui está as instruções para que vocês consigam acessar a plataforma diretamente com a tradução em português para poder acompanhar absolutamente todo o conteúdo, tá ok? So getting back to our work, our main goal today is provide to all of you an overview about the production for the season, about the logistics and exports, and also a deep dive technical content regarding how to run Brazilian cotton in your mills, achieving the maximum level of performance. So I have with me Mr. Gabriel Cordeiro, who is the representative of ANEA. He is one of the directors of Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. We also have here Varun Vaid. Mr. Varun is the director of Wazir Advisors. It's our consultant, knows a lot of how to run Brazilian cotton in a very high level, and he will share with us some insights, very important insights about his work using Brazilian cotton around the globe. As a special guest, we have Mr. Lee. I will introduce him during the Q&A. And last and not the least, we have Marcelo Duarte, the director of international relations of ABRAPA, of the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association, who will be our moderator doing a Q&A session at the end of this webinar, the last part that you have. So um, we have global cotton market and cotton Brazil outlook for the 2026 season. This technical deep dive was the advisors, this Q&A session with the Spinner testimonial and the closing remarks. And starting with the Cotton Brazil Outlook 2026 in terms of production, what we brought for all of you. It's a general overview about Brazilian cotton production nowadays. So we have basically two main regions here in our country, Mato Grosso State and Mato Piba region, that is responsible for almost 95% that concentrates uh, the huge part of cotton area here in our country. Mato Grosso, it's achieving almost 70%, 67 of the production for this year, with 1.5 million hectares, 90% double crop with especially with soybeans, and the competing crop it's corn. And Matopiba region in the northeast of our country, it's responsible for 25% of the production, 500,000 hectares, a limited double crop, except when we have irrigated areas. And the competing crop, it's soybeans. So going ahead, we are talking about Brazil keeping the position of a third largest producer and the first place regarding exports. We are talking about also 100% machine picked, one picked by season per season. We start the harvest season last week in some areas of São Paulo state. So we already start our harvest and go until September. We have 100% HVI tested, bale by bale. We finish it in beginning of April. I will show to you all the 2025 crop HVI analysis. Brazilian cotton is traceable from the farm using bale ID tags. Around 80% with sustainability certification, our ABR program, and also the BCI, the Better Cotton Initiative. 92% rain-fed in 2026 season, and 8% irrigated of the total area. And we export, we are the first one globally, but we also supplies almost 100% of the raw material that Brazilian domestic mills use. So we can see here the Brazilian cotton calendar. Like I told you, we just started the harvest operations in São Paulo. Then we'll go consecutively to the other states in the next months. We are talking about project prediction. Actually, the 2025 production, we harvested more than 4 million tons of cotton, and of these 4 million tons, we have a little bit more than 700 used by our domestic spinning mills, and we are achieving the number of 3.2 million tons to be exported for this 25-26 season that we end in July. For this 2026 crop, now we have the forecast. We had a decrease in the planted area from 2.1 million hectares to 2 million hectares. The yield, we are expecting a little bit less than last season. Last season was like a record for Brazilian cotton growers. We have some climate issues, especially in the beginning of the season that happened, that we are like have this perspective to reduce like 5% in the yield numbers, totalizing in a production expected for 2026 for 3.8 million tons, 10% less than last year. About the classing and quality results, I would like to share with all of you this graphic. This is a graphic, these are numbers that we are very proud of because this is like a combination between the uh, breeding companies, the growers, and we have almost 80% of the cotton production here in Brazil, with the fiber length exceeding 29 millimeters, and 20% of the cotton has fiber longs than 30.5 millimeters. Here you can see the summary of quality indicators for the 2025 crop that we just finished, the 100% analysis. So we are talking about 71% on the best range about color grade, third one and better. 96% of Brazilian cotton achieving the micron area between 3.5 to 4.9. Strength, 97%, the best rate. 94% in the length. 95 in uniformity. And the short fiber that improving year by year, you see in the next slide, achieving 81%. So here we can see like a historical data, and we can see that we improved all the indicators, or we keep the same levels, except for color grade. We have some rains last August and September in Mato Grosso region that impact exactly in this color grade 31 and better. This is the main reason. And for all the details, update statistics of our HVI results, you can easily find using your computer, your smartphone. You can download these quality reports, and this is the QR code, and you can find it easily in the Cotton Brazil website. So the climate forecast here in Brazil, we are talking about now this season, this 2026. We have some moderate and low risks related to our production. For Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul, we need to monitor the May rains. We still need some like 2 or 3 good rains in May. We are expecting this to achieve very high productivity levels. In the cluster, Goiás and Minas Gerais and Mato Piba, we have a low risk. We have or higher yields expecting, or to keep the same yields in terms of Mato Piba. So we are talking about a good perspective for this season in terms of yield, in terms of climate, in this end of season. On the other hand, for next season, we are expecting like a strong El Nino for Brazil. And when we have an El Nino phenomenon happening in a in a very high level as expected. We are talking about like the center north region in Brazil with very high temperatures and with a bad rain distribution along the year. And we are talking about the center south of Brazil with a good rain levels and low temperatures as well. But as we could see in the first slide, we have a lot of cotton plant area in Brazil concentrated in the middle north. So talking about future, we have like a high intensity El Nino forecast. This is a tension point for the growers, for the all supply chains, where I told you that Brazilian cotton production is more concentrated in the center north region. We have a very confused geopolitical context, like the fertilizers and fuel expect to have a very high impact on the next production cost for the next season, for the upcoming season. So this is something that we need to work together here to find some alternatives. We will continue our focus on Brazilian quality workshops. We started this 2 years ago, and we are doing these workshops related to quality in all the main production areas to train the operational staff, the technical teams, and the farm managers to have all the best practices, better practices to continue improving our quality indicators. And Mr. Varun from Wazir will show in a deeper way, but we will focus on the Knowledge Hub platform. This platform was launched during ITMA event last year, and we concentrate all the guides, the technical materials to provide to you the best practices to use Brazilian cotton in the spinning mills and achieving a better performance. So this is like the briefing about this Cotton Brazil Knowledge Hub. This is the access for this platform. We have a unique website to concentrate all this material and training models. And that's it. Thank you so much for your attention. Now, I would like to pass the word to my colleague, Mr. Gabriel Cordeiro, which will present to us an overview about logistic and about export in the ANIA's perspective, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. Gabriel, it's on you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fernando. Let me share my presentation here.
Great, we can see your presentation.
Yeah, it's clear there, right, Fernando?
Yes, it's perfect. We are in the first slide.
Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriel Cordeiro. Today I'm here representing ANIA in this webinar. It's a huge pleasure for me to be part of this webinar and helping the development of this very nice road we are watching of the Brazilian cotton. So first, just a brief introduction about the members of ANIA. It's important to mention that I think it's very interesting that here in Brazil, the farmers and the association work very, very closely with Abrapa, Cotton Brazil, and all these initiatives. And I think this is a big strength in our market here in Brazil. Today I'll be basically covering an overview of exports, logistics, and a bit of the market situation on the Brazilian cotton. Okay. First here, we are having the main destinations of the Brazilian cotton. I like to highlight the top 5 destinations of the Brazilian cotton and how those destinations became very well balanced throughout the year, showing that Brazil managed to diversify the destination and also proves that the mills that are using Brazil are recurring and also on a recurring using of this cotton. So it shows how well and how Brazil cotton managed to adjust as we gain market throughout the years. Also, it's very important to notice that every year or every certain period, we see new countries trying the Brazilian cotton and moving on with the Brazilian cotton. A good example that we are having lately is India, that increased a lot the consumption of Brazilian cotton and became a very important destination for Brazilian cotton as well. So Brazilian shows a strong and consistent growth accelerating, especially after 2023. This is matching an increase of production after COVID, impacting on the results of the farmers and the market in the Brazilian cotton around the world. US exports have declined with Brazilian overtaking in 2024. This is also a lot because of this consistency that Brazil managed to have and the fact that buyers, once they try the Brazilian cotton, they keep using the Brazilian cotton. So once we reach this position in the market, we kept the position there. Different from the top key players in the market, other major exports remain on the top 5, but they show a steadier trend. While Brazil, we always have this capacity of growing, as Fernando mentioned it. We still have the area. It's a matter of keep developing the destination and the market around the world. So as I mentioned here, like in 2024, we surpassed the US for the first time. And 2 factors are very important to highlight this. This is because of a bigger production that Brazil is having throughout the year and is consolidating this position with area and production, combined with a very important development on logistics here as well. So here, it's how Brazil is being exporting, and the numbers we are reaching shows our capacity to export big volumes. We say in Brazil, in the past 5, 6, 10 years, people would doubt about our capacity of exporting 200,000 tons. Then we proved that we are capable of exporting 200,000 tons. Then the next magical number was 300,000 tons, and we managed to surpass this as well in 23, 24. And now we are consistent during the peak months, exporting over 400,000 tons of cotton in Brazil. And with a big potential on the logistics here to keep improving. So I think this shows the capacity of Brazil of adapting not only on the production, but also in the logistics. And this is an ongoing process and very important for us here in Brazil to keep gaining the international market. To show in details We are a country of a very large territory, and the production is concentrated in two regions, like 70% in around 70% in Mato Grosso and 20% in Bahia, which are regions that are near 2,000 kilometers away from the main exporting port in Brazil, which is Santos. So this is a big challenge for the exporters here in Brazil. The distance that we have and the ports, this concentration in Santos is also a very big challenge in Brazil. However, we are working on that and to develop and keep being capable of supplying the world with our cotton. So Brazil logistics infrastructures is improving, but it's good to mention that this is a long-term situation. And why we are so concentrated in Santos, I think this is very valid to explain to the market, because Santos is the main hub in terms of containers, imports, exports, is located in the biggest commercial and industrial hub in Brazil, which is São Paulo state, Minas Gerais state, which are very strong states in terms of industries. So within that, the availability of containers in Santos is very big, and the routes of vessels sailing out of Santos and arriving in Santos with imports also is very big. So Brazil has a big concentration in terms of its economy in the southeast area of Brazil, and this is why, or the main reason why, we are so concentrated in Santos. Also, Santos benefits from a very strong railroad connecting Mato Grosso to the port. It's important to highlight that the containers are being stuffed at the countryside in Mato Grosso when they go throughout the railroad. And this is also a big part that is supporting the exports of Brazil, because the rail is working very well throughout the years. They are improving a lot the capacity to export, but remains at Santos port, which also helps to maintain the shares of Santos as the main logistic port. So as a result, as I said, Santos continues to be dominated in terms of its logistics. However, we are going through a diversification here of the ports. As we can see, in 2022, Santos used to be 98, almost 100% of our exports, and now we are managing to diversify the logistics here in Brazil. We have Salvador Port, which is a very important port here. The farmers, the association worked a lot to push the shipping lines to go to Salvador. And now, fortunately, which is very good for us, Salvador is receiving automotive industries in the region, which increases the availability of empty containers. So Salvador also was acquired from a shipping line, so we are very optimistic on the more increase of routes out of Salvador, and also the availability of empty containers there. So I believe in the upcoming years, Salvador will be very relevant, especially for the cotton that is planted near the Bahia state, in Mapitobá state. Also, we have a Paranaguá port. Paranaguá is a fertilizer hub and recently had its draft increased, which means that we have more capacity for dry containers. Paranaguá is near the south of Brazil and is focused on reefer containers. And because of that, for many years, they gave priority of reefers instead of loading dry cargoes there, because this is more profitable for the shipping lines. However, with this draft increase, the port has a target to increase the capacity of exporting through there. And this will be very relevant port in the future as well, in the very near future, because this draft increase just happened by the end of last year. And this is a port where farmers can bring the cotton by truck and go back with the fertilizer, as Paranaguá is a fertilizer hub. Another port that I would like to highlight here is Itapuá Port, located in Santa Catarina state. This is a region of big import tax incentive for several industries, which brings the availability of empty containers there and also has a share of a shipping line in Itapua port. So all this combination together, I believe Santos will remain the dominant port in Brazil for the reasons I mentioned before. However, I think we are in a very good direction in terms of the new ports, and we can call very new structure here in Brazil because this development is happening just now. So I believe in the next 2-3 years, maybe Santos will reduce the share to 80% and everything will be more balanced here in Brazil in terms of logistics. In terms of farmer selling, talking about the market, our current crop 24-25, the one which is finishing now the exports, it's already 95% commercialized, while the new crop, the one we are entering now, going to start being exported August onwards, July, August onwards, we have 65.6% of the crop that farmers already sold to the market. Okay, so it's important to highlight here that the majority of those contracts are to be performed between August and December of the year. So farmers committed this cotton, and even with the heights on futures or the increase on New York futures lately, farmers don't have so much room to add more sales at the moment as they already commercialized that amount of cotton. They need to see the quality a little bit on the weather. As Fernando mentioned, we need to see how the weather will develop in May before they add in new sales to the market. They need to do the HVIs and export the existing contracts before they come again to the market with bigger volumes. In terms of basis comparing the three main regions in the world, we can see that even with the quality of Brazil improving throughout the years, we managed to stay lower in terms of basis than our competitors. This shows that we are capable of producing in scale, and this gives the confidence for the mills to add Brazil to their programs of yarn, and as we can be consistent, we can offer all year long, and we are competitive against our three main origins or our two other competitors. Talking about New York futures, we were in a market where we stay sidelined for 1.5-2 years time, so nothing happening in the market for a long period of time. However, within the war in Iran, oil prices spiked very fast, went up very fast, and cotton, among all the commodities, when we have some political disputes or any problems, commodities are a place that investors look to put their money in. And cotton, among all the commodities, and especially with the situation of the oil, went up very fast in this period of the market. Also, combined with that, we have some potential issues in the U.S. crop. Is suffering a bit with the weather there, so this is supporting at the same time as market runs to commodities and to cotton. The weather issues are supporting the futures at the moment. And another thing I would like to highlight is the spread between July and December. That shows part of the reason why we are seeing a more carry in the market lately is because of the capacity of Brazil to export cottons all year long. So even the market situation, we need to keep an eye when people likes to trade spreads, is that the new reality of the world is that Brazil is in the market all year long, and it's showing even in the futures market here. Another point very important to show for us is that also for near 2 years the funds were short, so they were sellers of futures, and now they become long So they bought futures, so they are overall long in the market, and this might show a trend. So we need to watch the market very closely from now on and see how this will behave. Of course, all this scenario we are mentioning with funds changing hands because of the war, weather issues in US, we need to watch the fundamentals of everything, because right now we are in a place where cotton used to be a cheap commodity. However, if the war extends for longer, we might enter in a recession, and that's for me is the trick part, especially on cotton, because it's a more sensitive culture in terms of commodity, in terms of recession. So at the same time, we are seeing stories for a bull market, depending on how much longer this war, the oil prices will go, it might start to affecting the demand. So that's something we definitely need to keep an eye on. I believe the market now is very, very sensitive in terms of futures here. Things to watch. US-Iran war, this made our already is affecting our market with freights moving up around 30% here. Trump and Xi meeting in May combined with BACA. Also, this might reshape the flows of cotton around the world, depending on which direction the agreements will go. So China might start buying more American cotton. Other destinations need to buy other regions. And tax reform in Brazil and Brazilian elections are on the radar, especially for the economy. Interest rates, margin to the farmers here might be impacted on all of that. But the key thing here to highlight, I believe, is very important for the news to be aware of the political scenario around the world, which is very, very sensitive nowadays. And this pushes or makes very conservative or a very smart decision to diversify and the origins for cotton, because the road is a political situation is always reshaping the flows, reshaping agreements, changing agreements between countries. So it's very good to have alternatives. So this way you cannot be caught by surprise on any very dynamic political move that we are facing nowadays. What to expect? Brazil remains a high potential for area expansion and improved productivity, which in turn will increase export capacity. So we have the capacity to grow. We are working on the ports, on the logistics here. So it's a matter of keep increasing the destination and the use of Brazilian cotton around the world. Brazilian cotton production remains focused on quality, sustainability, traceability, and as I mentioned at the beginning, I think is very nice and a very good thing that farmers and association work together. We are always helping each other to solve the problems, understanding each other problems, and this makes we very promising, and we are already a reality, but we can do even more. We are always chasing to improve ourselves here. Brazil is a trusted counterpart. We are committed to long-term relationships, and we value a lot of the feedbacks from the mills and from the international market. So I think this is unique for us, and we like to do that. We like to work over the concerns, over the suggestions of our customers around the world. That's what brought us here. So I believe we have a very good potential to grow together. So that's it from my side today. Thank you very much for everyone. Fernando, I'll give you back the word to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gabriel, for your presentation, for your thoughts about logistic and export scenario. Before I call Wazir advisor to the floor, I would like just to encourage all our audience to use the Q&A chat box here. We really want to know your opinion, your ask a question for us. We will be happy to address it at the end. So Gabriel, you can stop to to share a screen, please. And now I would like to call Mr. Varun to his presentation. It's more technical into the textile industry context and also the Brazilian cotton inside all this context and the main perspective for us. So Varun, it's on you.
Yeah, thank you, Fernando. I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible as well.
Yes, perfect. We can see it perfectly.
Okay, great. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'll be taking you through a small presentation here where I'll be just talking about three aspects. Gabriel mentioned a little about the global scenario which is impacting the textile value chains, and so did Fernando. So I'll be just spending some initial moments talking about that global context. Then I'll talk about a little about the cotton sourcing, the comparative assessment of Brazil with other regions. And then finally, third section is the Brazilian cotton, which is positioned for scale. I'll talk about some of the technical issues that we have seen with spinning mills when they are processing Brazilian cotton and what we are doing about it. So we are very familiar that there are large structural forces which are reshaping the total industry. There are geopolitical conflicts and trade routes have been impacted because of them. Strait of Hormuz has been relatively disruption of almost quarter of the global oil and LNG flows, and there are multiple ships which are trapped in that zone. The freight costs and the transit have been extended by a significant amount. And the crude is again hovering at around $100 per barrel, and it had peaked around 115 per barrel a few weeks back. And the energy and processing costs specifically across Asia are up by 10 to 25%. The polyester feedstock, MEG and naphtha, they are again up by 25 to 40%. And then there is a parallel Red Sea instability, which is also reinforcing the supply chain fragility. So why I'm talking about these changes is that these are the factors which are impacting the textile and apparel value chain, which is global in nature. The other thing is the US trade policy uncertainty. We have seen that there was a large reciprocal tariffs which were implied by US, but then the Supreme Court of United States struck down this reciprocal tariff. It implemented a flat 10% in force, and which is again on verge of expiry in July 2026, and there is no confirmed replacement. There are structural excess capacity investigations which are ongoing by US on China, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, and many other countries. While China, the reciprocal tariffs have come down, but there are certain elevated trade barriers, irrespective of the tariffs and policy resets, which are impacting Chinese trade flows. And then rules of origin and transshipment scrutiny has really intensified across Asia. The third aspect, which is just beginning to take shape, is the European Union's compliance and regulatory pressure. The ESPR has gone in implementation, which prohibits unsold textile destruction. The CSRD is expanding full value chain emissions accountability for more than 50,000 firms in Europe. And the digital product passport would mandate complete farm to retail traceability by 2030. The import controls and regulatory frameworks are getting stricter. So compliance is not a market access condition now. Rather, non-compliant are expected to lose the allocations altogether. So what is happening, the implication for sourcing strategy for the buyers, the textile buyers or the apparel buyers is, first of all, route security is a major sourcing criteria. Gulf adjacent routes carry embedded disruption risk like Hormuz and Red Sea exposure. Cotton is regaining ground against MMF. We are seeing that polyester feedstock inflation is compressing the MMF cost advantage, mainly driven by the fiber price volatility. And brands, specifically European brands and American brands, are reopening cotton programs, which signals a behavioral reset. The third thing is compliance readiness as a market access condition. As I mentioned, there are many regulations which are coming up by European Union, which is going to alter the way how we are going to do business specifically in the downstream value chain. And single origin concentration as a procurement risk is being perceived more and more, because the US trade policy eliminated forward visibility for any single origin strategy. no geography is offering any stable predictability. So there is a lot of confusion, there is a lot of lack of clarity which is happening in the global value chain. And with that, what is happening is that while the production, the global fiber demand versus production is seeing a continuous uptrend in terms of a 3% annualized growth rate, but the flat cotton production is restricting demand expansion. All said and done, there is a big latent demand for cotton, but because of supply constraint, the demand of cotton is not increasing. The MMF has controlled and expanded supply, which has enabled scalability for last many years. But the current change where the delta between polyester and cotton reducing has again tried to kind of narrow down the gap between polyester and cotton in terms of the global fiber chain, provided there is enough and more cotton supply available for spinners across the world. Moving on to the second section, which is cotton sourcing comparative assessment. Fernando has already shown you these statistics, where Brazil is standing at the third position in production, a third position in Brazil in area harvest as well as the yield also. Yield is the number one, but in export it is number one, and in average price also it is faring much better than the other origins. If you look at the exporter dynamics, we have already seen that Brazil has emerged as the largest exporter of cotton globally, and with a very significant improvement in yields over the years. What drives the export share of Brazil is the scalable, contamination-free, and 100% HVI tested cotton, and there is continuously growing in the output volumes which are there, and exports are significantly increasing as well. US, on the other hand, is also very strong in terms of the quality, in terms of contamination-free and full HVI data, but the production and the export share is declining. Australia, again, known for its high quality, long staple and contamination fiber, is more of a niche supply geography, mainly due to the area constraint. And then there are other suppliers which are fragmented across various regions, such as West Africa, such as India, Turkey, etc. So what are the key parameters for any sourcing professional these days? First and foremost, the cotton or any fiber for that matter needs to be available at scale. Consistent volumes across seasons to support planned capacity utilization, not just opportunistic buying is what is on top of the mind of any buyer. Contamination-free status for cotton goes without any saying. Lot-to-lot consistency is again a very, very desirable aspect. Sustainability and traceability because of emerging sustainability regulations across the world is getting very, very important. Cost efficiency has always been prime important, and it will continue to do because textiles themselves are very, very price sensitive products. And then blending compatibility in terms of the mixing up with fibers from different origins is also very, very important. So in my next section, I'll just talk on some of these parameters that how Brazilian cotton scores on all 6 of these, making it a very, very desirable fiber for all the spinners across the world. Fernando showed the quality report in terms of the crop year result, where he displayed micronair, strength, fiber length, etc. I would like to request you to focus on the last 2 columns of that chart, where it's not only the share of specific micronair, but what is the measurable, desirable threshold that the spinner desires, and what is the percentage share of cotton crop from Brazil that meets that desirable threshold. In terms of micronair, the desirable threshold is 3.5 to 4.9. So 96% of the Brazilian cotton is meeting that threshold. If you look at all the parameters, whether it is strength, fiber length, uniformity, short fiber, reflectance, or yellowness, a majority of the cotton crop originating from Brazil meets that criteria. On top of it, the availability is extremely high. From a global sourcing perspective, the price competitiveness is also there because of economies of scale. As we know that the yield in 2025 was almost like 2000 kg per hectare. So that enables very good cost efficiency for the Brazilian cotton. The current industry usage in terms of Brazilian cottons in spinning mills, what we see is that when it is being used in blends, it is being used in the ratio of 15 to 45% in blends. It is mixed with higher grade cottons to control the cost, while it is also mixed with lower grade cottons to improve the quality. So Brazil actually sits in between these two grades. And in terms of export market share, we've already seen the top 5-6 markets as in the previous presentation. So Vietnam, the adoption level is very, very high. The key driver is a large-scale spinning base and demand for contamination-free fiber. Pakistan also, the adoption level is very high. It's the 17% of the export share is for the Pakistan. It is being used for blend optimization as well as brand-driven BCI demand. In China, again, the export share is 16% and adoption level is high. It's a high volume market and price-linked sourcing is the key driver. Bangladesh, another market with very high adoption level. Export-oriented spinning for either for the most for the garments and the need for scale and the clean fiber. In Turkey, again, there is high, while Indonesia and India are two markets which are growing very, very fast for Brazilian cotton usage. I'll move down to the challenges which are being reported by spinning mills. I saw some of the questions in the question box also indicating to these challenges. So what the technical issues were being reported by spinning mills in the past are related to high short fiber index. Stickiness has been a major issue which is being reported by the spinning mills. Then crop to crop quality variation and high instances of trash also. And on the commercial issues, some of the challenges which were reported by spinning mills was lead time or shipment delays in the past, as well as the traceability issues reported in some of the mismatch between bale barcode data and so on and so forth. So what happened is that these challenges, they were reported to Abrapa and ANIA also. So what was planned is that a very structured approach was undertaken to really understand what are the real challenges, what is the root cause of those challenges, and then how do we really address them and try to inform everybody what is the issue, what is the possible solution for it. So 3-step approach was taken up. First of all, a perception mapping study was done, wherein we conducted a survey of spinning mills in 6 major markets to understand what are the challenges in processing Brazilian cotton. We covered almost 14 spinning mills across target markets, and we conducted structured interviews with mill management and technical teams and identified key issues. Before I move on to the second and third step, I'll just like to deep dive here on this perception mapping. What was it and what were the key findings for it? So these were the markets which we covered: Turkey, Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The key findings, positives as well as negatives, what we found out, it was done about a year and a half ago. So there was a clear growing interest of spinners in using Brazilian cotton. The key drivers for success factors for Brazilian cotton adoption were contamination-free nature, BCI certification, and availability at an attractive price. In some of the geographies, it was being generally blended with US and Australian cotton to optimize the cost. And with West African, it was being blended for better strength and the productivity, the mill level. The key challenges, as I mentioned earlier, reported were stickiness, high short fiber index, trash, contamination, and quality variations. And what we realized is that addressing the technical challenges in spinning mills could really improve the marketability of Brazilian cotton. With that insight, we moved on to the step 2, which was the technical trials. So what we did is we conducted spinning trials in 3 partner mills in 3 different geographies. And we evaluated performance parameters such as productivity, yarn quality, paste and machine performance under controlled conditions with Brazilian cotton. We tested our hypothesis and process optimization approaches, including bale mix and carding. And then we generated mill-specific case studies demonstrating what could be done best. Again, I'd like to spend a little more time here because this is the most important thing that we want to convey to you today. So what we did, how we did the technical trials, we did trials in spinning mills in India, Indonesia, and Vietnam. So the 3 mills, in 3 mills, these were the final outcomes. I'll just go one by one. In mill 1, we reported 4% improvement in the productivity. So with Brazilian cotton, and I'm talking about all trials taken with 100% Brazilian cotton, not with blended yarn. with 100% Brazilian cotton, 255 gram per spindle shift were achieved against the mill which was running at 245 GPSs. The yarn realization achieved with 100% Brazilian cotton was 76.5% against 72% which the mill was running as a regular mixing. The yarn quality was comparable in terms of IPI, RKM, hairiness, and classimate faults, while the fabric appearance was, of course, contamination free. In mill 2, we reported same productivity with the running mixing. It was 237 GPSs, 30 count I'm talking about. And the yarn realization, which was achieved with Brazilian, was 73.5% against 75%. Mind you, this was the Australian cotton, in which 45% Australian cotton was mixed. So the cost was definitely much higher. So if you look at the cost adjusted productivity, so it was better. Again, the yarn quality was comparable with the running mixing, and the fabric appearance was contamination free. In mill 3 again, we achieved 250 GPSs, which was maintained at the same level, but the ring frame working was significantly improved. They were running 60% Brazilian and 40% US cotton mixing, where the achievement was 76.4% yarn realization. And yarn quality and fabric appearance were again at a desirable level. So what we did is we took trials, and all the process settings were tailored to each mill's priority, whether it was productivity or quality, and delivering improved spinning performance and better economics, including the biggest problem that was being reported as stickiness. Now, whatever the findings are there and whatever detailed case studies that we built were converted into separate, I would say, guides. One was a success guide for spinners, which compared all the parameters which were there for all the 3 spinning mills, how we address the challenges and what is the outcome. And then issue-wise technical guides were also made to address specific issues such as fiber stickiness, fly and dust deposition, fleece cuts, fly deposits, fly accumulation, PT and fly deposition, so on and so forth. Now, all these guides and the spinner guides, the complete as well as issue-wise technical guides, are available online. The presentation will be shared with you. You can also click on the individual thumbnails to go to report, but they are available on the Cotton Knowledge Hub. We'll share. I think the link has already been shared in the chat box, so one can go there, register yourself, and download the reports which are there. But I'll just take you through some of the recommendations, because fiber stickiness is one issue which has been reported again and again by the spinners. So what we realize is that definitely there has been instances of higher stickiness in some of the cases, and that is mainly due to the nature of the cotton, which is different from any other origin, whether it is Australian or American or Indian or any other origins for that matter. So there were 6 very, I would say, fixed recommendations that we made after doing all the trials. One is that stickiness testing is quite important if we really want to optimize our processes and take informed decisions for setting up the process parameters. So we have given a very clear-cut way of doing the stickiness testing. One very important thing, what we did is when we were devising these stickiness, the technical guides, we also visited the Brazilian spinning mills. Now, we know that Brazilian spinning mills are exclusively using Brazilian cottons, not for few years, but for decades and decades. And they have been able to address any challenges that have come with the Brazilian cotton. So we visited them also, apart from taking 3 technical trials. We understood the best practices that they are following, whether it is stickiness testing or how are they using the fiber conditioning, etc. at the blow room. And everything, the findings from those technical trials as well as Brazilian mills were converted into a guide and made available to everybody. So the other thing important to be controlled is bale management and mixing. The HVI-linked bale management softwares are very useful when we are trying to optimize our performance. The third very important thing is application of fiber conditioner at blow rooms. We have worked out the cost economics of those using those fiber conditioners also in the guide. I mentioned there, along with some of the names which are available for the and running very good with Brazilian cotton fiber. Then we also understood that there is an optimization required at the blow room and card setting. In terms of whatever the settings we are using in blow room and card, they need to be optimized for the Brazilian cotton. What we realized is that when the spinning mill was trying to run the Brazilian cotton at same set of parameters, let's say Indian cotton or American cotton or Australian cotton, the results were very, very different. The moment we gave a special attention to Brazilian cotton, the nature of its nature, and then realized that some of the settings have to be changed, whether it be comber top layer or the draw frame top layer or ring frame suction, etc. So the running etc. has improved very, very significantly. Some of the very basic things that we realize is that the machine cleaning has to be also be a little higher because the sometimes the kitty deposits are much higher in Brazilian cottons, and it's a very small tweak which we can do in our department to really improve the performance. And then finally, maintaining optimal spinning conditions is very, very important, and we have given some very specific recommendation in terms of the humidity and temperature. They are specified in the guide in detail, and because of these changes, I bucketed these into 6 changes. What we could get is that there was a more uniform fiber properties. The yarn performance was much improved, and the productivity and performance was significantly improved when we use these kind of parameters. And these trials were running for a long period. It was not like a 1 or 2 day trial that we took. And I'm very happy to report that in the one of the mills that we took the trials initially, they were thinking of going for blending yarn, Brazilian with some other origin. But after we took the trial with 100% cotton, since that time, almost 1 year has passed, they are still running on 100% Brazilian cotton, and they are very happy with the performance. So these were the technical trials. As I mentioned, they are available to everybody. You can go online and just download these reports. And there are certain specific recommendations. And I would request everybody who is facing any challenge with Brazilian cotton to please go online and see those. If there is anything that needs to be tweaked, that needs to be changed, there is an online consultation option also in the cotton Brazilian norm. You please write to us and we'll see what best we can do. I would also like to mention that in one of the questions that we received on the chat box today was talking about dyeing. We also took technical trials for dyeing. I have not covered it here, but again, what we realize is that the nature of Brazilian cotton is certainly different from other origins. So there are certain changes which are required in the recipe, in sometimes the process parameters which are there. So again, those are available online. What trials we took, what were the outcomes. We actually collaborated with 2 of the largest chemical suppliers, Huntsman and Archroma, to develop those trials and took them. First, we took the lab trials and then we tried to replicate in the bulk process. So again, those results are available online. Please have a look and then let us know whatever the challenges you are facing, are they able to be resolved or not? And if there is anything that we can do by talking to one-on-one to you, we will be very happy to. The third step, which is there, is the knowledge dissemination. This is where we're standing today. We are sharing best practice and trial learning with spinning mills and dyeing mills globally. As mentioned earlier, that Cotton Brazil Knowledge Hub was launched as a digital platform for all technical resources, case studies, and even consultations. And we are planning to do technical workshops in key textile markets. And of course, this webinar is also part of the knowledge dissemination program, which is ongoing. And we plan to increase it in the future also. So this is the screenshot of the Cotton Brazilian Knowledge Hub. If you go there, you'll see all the features over there. It's a one-stop information solution. Structured learning programs are there. There are possibilities of consulting and advisory services for individual units. There are complete downloadable guides and manuals, and there are AI-enhanced knowledge tools. And plus, the workshops and webinars are going to be a part of the knowledge dissemination, which we are going to do. So what is the way forward for us? So way forward is, first of all, we would like to build understanding before adoption. I would request you to engage with technical guides, case studies, and mill trial learnings. The spinning mill could develop clarity on performance characters, blending strategies, and end-use suitability using those guides. And existing users may optimize performance through process refinement proposed in the guides. These, whatever are being proposed, parameters, etc., could be validated through trials. Please conduct structural trials across key yarn counts and product categories. Make process level adjustments specific to your requirements in terms of relative humidity, in terms of machinery settings, aligned to fiber behavior. We have given a indication of how these settings correlate with your yarn counts with the end products. Please try to follow that. And benchmark outcomes across cost efficiency as well as yarn quality. Seeing Brazilian cotton's performance in isolation of in one parameter only is not the right way. You also need to benchmark it with the cost as well as the yarn quality which is coming out. And once the scales, once the validation is there, one can scale on results. There could be a confident informed sourcing, aligning your sourcing strategy leverage to cost to performance advantage. And then finally, integration across value chain, extended usage into fabric and garment manufacturing, because Brazil cotton is definitely traceable on a bale-to-bale basis. So with European Union coming out with regulations which require traceability, so this is one of the best bets for us to align ourselves with the digital product passport going forward. With that, I'd like to end my presentation. And as I've passed on the message, please do visit the Cotton Brazil Knowledge Hub. Look for the solutions that are specific to your issues. If you find them, please try them in a structured manner. And if there is anything else that you need extra support from us, we are always there to support you. You can just reach out to us through the website itself. With that, Fernando, I'd like to hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Varun. Thank you very much for your presentation, for your thoughts and insights. And I would like to introduce to all of you the members who will be in charge of our Q&A session. So we have Mr. Marcelo Duarte from Abrapa, Celestino Zanella also from Abrapa, Gabriel Cordeiro from ANIA, Mr. Varun from Wazir Advisors, our special guest today, Mr. Lee Huaching. He's director of Laoxin Textile Group. Thank you very much for your participation, Mr. Lee, on behalf of all Abrapa and ANIA members. And also Ms. Palak, who will be in charge to managing the questions. So Marcelo, it's on you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fernando. Thank you all. It's a huge privilege, and that we can be with you this morning, afternoon, evening, depending where you are, to share part of what we're doing, part of what some of your pains as spinners that we know you're facing. Brazilian cotton, as Fernando showed, as we have been talking for a while, has been taking an increasing part of the global share of exports. And as a natural fiber, we understand that's our role to communicate and to study and to how we can better support you in getting the best results possible. So that's the aim of the Cotton Knowledge Hub. I think this is just the first webinar, as it was said. We are planning 3 for this year. But apart from the webinar, as Varun said in his presentation, there will be several other resources that will be available as you access the website. We will, if you're not in the if you haven't accessed it yet, it's in the comments. But we will also share in our WhatsApp community. So if you're not, please, if you're not in the WhatsApp community, I would definitely encourage you to participate, because that's where we do. So that's really an ongoing project that we aim to strengthen with your feedback. So this is what we're doing right now. So this is why this session is so important. So I would like to start by thanking the presenters today, Fernando, Varun, Gabriel, and also our host, Vice President of Abrapa, Celestino Zanella, who gave his warm welcome speech to all of you. So without further ado, I would like to ask to start with the Q&A session. Palak, how are we going to do this? Are you going to? I know you're curating the questions.
Hello, everyone. So, hi, Marcelo. I have actually clubbed the question as per topics, and I think we can address particular topics rather than going for each question. That way we can have a varied variety and varied stakeholders covered. So should we go ahead with that?
Okay, so should I read the questions?
No, let me.
Okay, let's go ahead, please.
Yes. So while in his presentation, Mr. Varun has addressed how we have done the technical trials and how we have a guide developed for stickiness, we are still receiving a lot of questions about what remedial actions are taken to avoid the stickiness and how people are facing stickiness during this summer season, and that is making them not be able to use beyond 30% of Brazilian cotton. So I would like Marcelo, you to address this, please.
Well, thank you. I would, the stickiness is in Brazilian production has as a main origin that's related to bugs in the end of the crop cycle. And the bugs are very much related to where we grow cotton, which is in a tropical environment. This is something that it's totally different from most parts of the world because of the tropical nature of our country. We are more susceptible to pests, and this is one of the reasons we are more you can experience more stickiness coming from Brazilian cotton. So that said, we had an additional issue on top of this over the last couple of years, which was related to the seed coat fragments that we suspect because of the heavy breeding towards better yields from seed cotton to cotton lint. The seeds were getting smaller and smaller, and because of that, they started to get broken. This issue has already been addressed by our breeders, who are now developing seeds that will not break so easily. But that created an issue, and this issue is what we are addressing right now. So there are three ways we can reduce this. First one is mitigating, is reducing the at origin. So farmers, they have been trained, they have been we put a lot of training, a lot of learning sessions with farmers to help them to control the pests and to control the gening process, because in Brazil the gening is also done by the farmers in a way that it would minimize stickiness issues. Secondly, we are also working with with consultants like Varun, for example, to understand how the Brazilian industry, as he said, is managing to use 100% Brazilian cotton for decades with very little issues. And as he said, they take some additional precautions, like, for example, they use some oils, they do some specific testing, etc. And thirdly, I think one important thing that I think you should all know is that every single bale of Brazilian cotton that's sold overseas goes through strict visual inspection by the merchant. So the merchants, they go and touch the cotton, they see the cotton by the time they buy. So it's very important to tell your merchant that you don't want cotton with signs of stickiness, because even though there is no official stickiness test done at the gene level, there is a visual inspection that has it that if you is normally done by an expert that will know that the cotton has signs of stickiness. So that's really important. So that the merchant will have to tell you, or will give you some indications of whether that cotton he's selecting through his. That's one of the reasons we still have in Brazil visual classing. Otherwise, we would have moved 100% to HVI, but HVI cannot pick stickiness. For this reason, we agreed with the merchants that we continue allowing this visual inspection, and this needs to be very clear. So in that sense, you should really not blame the farmer only, but also blame the person who is selling the cotton, because in most cases he has knowledge of if there is or not a stickiness issue.
Okay, Marcelo, thank you for addressing that. So another question reads that Fernando's presentation mentioned that there is a 10% fall for the crop production this year, and there is 5% decrease in the acreage as well as reed. Can you please share the reason of this expected lower numbers?
Marcelo, you would like that
Fernando,
I...
please.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So what we could see when the cotton growers made the decision to keep the same area or increase or decrease the amount of area planted in the last season, we could see a very low international prices. Corn, it's a competing crop when we are talking about cotton, especially in Mato Grosso. And at the time, the corn crop margins was very interesting for the growers here in Brazil. That's why we could see exactly this planted area decrease. We had some problems, especially related to the sowing process here in Brazil in the beginning of the season, or lack of rain or too much rain, depending on the location. Brazil, it's a huge country, has a lot of microclimate regions that works in a different way, and that's why the yield levels are not the same as last season. This is just a forecast. We will have another webinar in August. In August, we will have a better idea about the yield levels. But remembering that last season we had like the record in terms of productivity levels here in Brazil, so it's difficult to keep the same pace in terms of yield year by year, considering exactly the climate factors that could impact or positionally or in a positive or in a negative way the crop. This is my answer, Marcelo. I pass to you again.
Thank you, Fernando. Palak, can you?
Yes.
You're our official curator, because luckily, I think, thank you. I want to thank you all for the very strong participation. Appreciate questions, and Palak is doing a great job consolidating the questions so that we can be very precise and less redundant as possible. Thank you. Go, Palak, please.
Sure, Marcelo. So moving on to our next question. A user had asked that how is cotton Brazil positioning itself in the price-sensitive markets like Bangladesh or Pakistan? And then they have mentioned it is especially against established origins like the US cotton.
Can you repeat that question, please?
So the question reads that how is cotton Brazil positioning itself in the price-sensitive markets like Bangladesh or Pakistan, especially against origins such as US cotton?
Well, we think that we don't think prices competition is healthy for any origin. We will always try to sell at a basis that makes sense to our farmers. Naturally, we have an advantage in Brazil because Brazil has larger areas, more scale of production, and high yields with no irrigation. So for that reason, Brazil tends to be at a lower basis level in the origins, but that's not something we are doing we are doing in a way to compete or to put or to cut off other origins. It's just because Brazil is more competitive. I think it's going to continue being so because of, as I said, the scale of the production efficiency. Even though we are the country, the origin, I would say, that has the poorest port-to-port logistics, maritime logistics, but it's compensated by our in-farm efficiency.
And since we are talking about the comparison basis, there is also a question around elongation. That elongation of Brazil cotton is around 3.5 to 4.5%, while that of US cotton is around 5.5 to 6.5%. So, could you please address that?
I would ask Varun to address this. It's a very technical question, and I don't know if he could help you with that because that's something we haven't done much research around. Varun, can you please jump into this?
Yeah, sure, Marcel. So I don't have a direct answer to it. So what we showed to you, the quality report, there is a complete spread, right? So there are qualities which are type A, type B, type C, type D. So it depends on what the contract you have entered into with the merchant, what kind of quality you have paid for and you've got for. Just saying that US is having X parameter and Brazil is having Y parameter, that's not I would say, a right way of comparison. The price aspect as well as the performance aspect has to be figured in. Then said that. So there are qualities which would have a good elongation also that you want, and then there will be inferior as well as superior qualities as well. So if there is a very specific thing that you want to get addressed, that you purchase something for something which was not there in your contract, then it's a different thing that you need to take up separately with the seller. But I see that there is an entire horizon, as I showed, that most of the Brazilian cotton crop is meeting the expected target by almost 90% of the crop is in that target. So we need to look into the sourcing parameters to just say that these are apples and oranges. I don't think that we can compare in the same manner that the two fibers of different origins can be not be compared.
I think it is well addressed, Varun. And so, since we have talked about one property, which is stickiness, if we are moving to other fiber properties that we are raising questions around, those are trash content, the color grade variation, and the short fiber index. So, I would like somebody from the team of Rapa to address that point.
Trash content, color grade variation, and
and the short fiber index.
Short fiber index.
Well, let's start with short fiber. As short fiber is a result of genetics and also ginning and picking. This is an issue we have been measuring for a while, and definitely we have been seeing lots of improvements year after year. We are, I think, the only origin that actually shares short fiber indicators in with our containers. We share because we think transparency is key, and that's, I can assure you, that's in the top priority list of our breeders to look for varieties that will yield better results in that sense. The challenge we have regarding short fiber is that the cotton plant is not uniform from bottom to top, and we pick only once, and machine picked. And in Brazil, there is normally a lot of growth in the top part of the plant, and the top part of the plant, and a lot of instances is where it presents the lower maturity and lower higher level of short fiber. So this is something that we are aware, we are measuring, we have an indicator, and we are definitely going to improve and have been improving over the years, and the numbers are there. Regarding trash content, that's something that I think it came along with the seed coat. I think as we solve the seed coat, which is also genetics, we'll see huge improvements in trash, because trash has never been an issue in a machine-picked country. And it's just because of the genetic pressure of these new seeds that are now being replaced by other ones. And color grade variations. Well, color grade variations, that has to do with the dual system we have in Brazil of classing, which are HVI and visual. So that's really brings a lot of questions to the market, because when we class here, the classing is done by HVI, and we share the HVI results. But in a commercial transaction with Brazilian cotton, what is used as a proxy is visual classing. So that creates those differences that you might be experiencing. Thank you. I will be very specific in the questions to answer more.
Yes. So moving ahead, Marcelo, we have received a lot of questions about traceability, where people are asking that if a buyer can know which area cotton are they buying, and are there any barcodes on mail where they can get the jinner information and details about particular location and particular season and such things. And how are these meeting any traceability standards, and how are these platforms verified?
Well, first of all, regarding the mills, there is a mill code list. I would ask Varun if you could please post in our Knowledge Hub, so that if you go to Knowledge Hub the next couple of days, there will be a post there with the mill list. With the gene code list. So with the gene code, you can easily find out where the gene is, and you can find out where the cotton came from. That's really public information that we're happy to share. What were the other questions about traceability?
So the user has asked that how are these systems verified and validated?
Well, the systems are verified by local teams and also by the Ministry of Agriculture. So the Ministry of Agriculture has inspectors in each gene, and these inspectors make sure that there is a completely match between that specific bale and the bale tag, so that we guarantee the full traceability within our database. So it's a very robust system, and that many of the mills that come to Brazil actually have the opportunity to see. And by the way, I would like to ask Mr. Lee, from China, who he's spinner, and he's also in our Q&A question here. He saw that in happening. He saw where the genes putting the tags in each bale and how the process works. And I would like Mr. Lee to ask you for your perception, not only about traceability, but about the robustness of the entire system, control system in Brazil. Can you please jump in?
Yes. Hello, Marcelo. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Okay.
Ni hao.
Okay. It's a greeting from China. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And let me ask the question first. For the consistent, yes, from the trip last year in the Abarapa for the Bayer mission, we do with a lot of farm, and we see a lot of consistency of how Brazil do the traceability. The Brazilian cotton has a fully traceable and standardized production system from the farm to bale, and HVI data is reliable because we saw this, how they put the different belly, how to pick up the sample, one for visual, one for HVI test. So it's all consistency. And the cotton is classified with strict quality control. It means fewer surprise, easy to blending, and more predictable for the spring process. Nowadays, all data from the HY report from the cotton Brazil is basically same with what we have done in the mill, because in my mill we have our own HY system. We'll do the comparison quite similar. So there's less surprise. And especially for the traceability for the bell, you can check it on in the Cotton Brazil online website. I did a lot of times. You can see the detail of this number, which farm, because we do a lot of deal with brand. The brand will let us to prepare the traceability doc for this. So that it's very easy for do this with Brazilian cotton. It's for free as well. It's quite good. And the first things, and I will have an overview of the how my meal to use the Brazil cotton. From the technical side, Brazil cotton is known as its non-stable length, high uniformity, and excellent strength. It means fewer ends down, less waste, and a higher yarn evenness. And from the spinning mill, it's in this season the quality of Brazilian is worth is as good as the last year. I think it's improved a little, and with lower trash net content is okay, less contamination. It's very important in this year because I'm doing the denim part. In this year, the denim part, the white color is very popular. It means the contamination is very crucial. So that's one of the very big advantage by using the Brazil cotton. We do a lot of something with white denim, less contamination. So that is very good. And for the last part is also important is the sustainability matter. More and more brands demand a responsible source raw material, and Brazilian cotton is a leader in the sustainable farming by using this integrated pest management, process irrigation, and the reduced chemical inputs. Plus, many bell come from certification like ABR and the BCI, because BCI is also necessary for some European brand. So that's why helps you customer to build a greater supply chain. So overall, if you want to fiber the combined spinning performance, supply chain reliability, and environmental responsibility, the Brazilian cotton is quite a good choice from my perspective. Yeah, pass to you, Marcelo.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you.
Okay, moving ahead,
I'll
Marcelo.
get back to you, okay?
Myself, just a moment. I need to go. I would like to thank for everyone that are with us today. It's a pleasure for us as Brazilian cotton growers to have all of you talking a little bit about cotton and mainly cotton from Brazil. Thank you very much. I need to go.
Thank you, Mr. Zanella. Mr. Vice President, thank you.
Okay, moving ahead, Marcelo, we have received a very interesting question on the Cotton Brazil brand. So the user has asked that how long have you been investing in the Cotton Brazil brand, and what metrics do you use to understand the success of the brand? And do you have a focus group that says Cotton Brazil is better than the Brazilian cotton?
Well, we have been using Cotton Brazil since 2019. So it's not a long time, 7 years only. And we decided we had a very we hired a branding consulting group, and they brought some options, and we had lots of discussion, especially regarding using Brazil with Z or with S, because in Brazil originally is with S. We chose carefully the brand, the symbol, the logo to represent, and especially the motto, growing for a better future. We understand that because it says a lot about what we stand for. First, we are growers. Second, we want to do it better, and we want to continue to do it in the future. A lot of people still had the impression of Brazil that we were not doing it better. I mean, and now they know we have certification, we have BCI, we are doing better and better each day. And for the future too. I mean, we are here to stay. It's not an origin that comes and goes. into the market in a more opportunistic way. We are consistent, and we want to provide year-round, and that's what the brand. So I think it's quite successful. We still have our organization brand, Abrapa, and now we are thinking of rebranding our certification scheme, ABR, which is a different strategy. Thank you.
So, Marcelo, one user has also raised the geopolitical concerns. They have asked, how should buyers think about shipment planning this season? And are there any expected bottlenecks or shifts given the geopolitical situation?
Well, I will handle that to Gabriel. He's an expert he's a merchant, an expert in shipments. So, Gabriel, please, could you handle that?
Yes. Thank you, Marcelo. So for now, we are already seeing increase on the freights here in Brazil. As Mr. Varun mentioned, depending on the destination, 30 to 70% increases are already in place here. So this shows how it affects in such a short term already the logistics around the world, and it's impacting already the imports to Brazil, which is a concern for us right now. Because when the road slows down or with the fuel prices becomes the disruptions in the supply chain. So definitely something to concern, and not only to Brazil, but will be if the situation continues a challenging situation for the entire world and for our regions. Regarding Brazil, I think every year we are more and more prepared in terms of port diversification. And also it's important to mention a little bit more, besides port, the areas that support the ports also have increased in Brazil throughout the years. So we managed to reduce those bottlenecks here in Brazil. I like to say that the merchants combine it with Abrapa. We did a very intense job together with our government in order to allow us to use new areas surrounding the ports in order to give a better flow to exports. So basically, again, yes, we should expect some issues, but these will be international issues, and Brazil is prepared. Like even if those challenges, Brazil should be prepared for the challenging situation as we face it in COVID, and we managed to keep our exports flowing.
Okay, so Marcelo, we have been receiving a steady flow of questions, and this seemed to be continuing. But we will now have to wrap the session due to time constraint. And I think the unanswered queries are very welcomed to be written on the Knowledge Hub website and to the support team of Cotton Brazil. And you can explain the process furthermore.
Varun, could you explain the process and how they can specifically how they can interact more with the Knowledge Hub? As I said, the Knowledge Hub is really a demand from our clients. It came up as a necessity, and we can consider this as a kickoff for the Knowledge Hub. We encourage you to use it. We encourage you to interact with us. The aim is to provide much more than market information, but deep information about spinning, about specific issues that will make your day-to-day industrial park run more smoothly, and make sure that we don't have any doubt that you can run Brazilian cotton not only 30 or 40 or 50, you can even run 100%. We have some experience in Korea and Vietnam, mills from Korean mills running in Vietnam, 90 to 100% Brazilian cotton. So it's very, very possible, but we know that to achieve, sometimes you need to be making some adjustments, and that's why we are hiring highly reputable company, which is Vazir Advisor, to give us that. So, but before you, Varun, I would like to ask, Mr. Lee for his final words, and we
Yes.
thank you for participating, and ask you your thoughts of I mean, how as a spinner, how do you think we can help you more achieve your goals using Brazilian cotton from Cotton Brazil's perspective?
Yeah, let me share something. Yeah, we do get some knowledge by the trip arranged by Brazil Cotton, and we do get some feedback from the daily communication, especially for the last time when Marcelo visited Intertextile in Shanghai. We do have very deep communication with downstream clients about their feedback, how use the Brazil Cotton when the downstream client do the weaving dyeing part. And all of this feedback between the different organization, this communication, help us to know what is their question, what is their issue, how then and what part is linked with the raw material, what part is linked with spinning. So that from Varun's part, it will help us from the technical level. How can we improve this part from the cotton part, from the mill part, after all this kind of discussion? Because all of this requirement is from our downstream. It's not only from the mill, but sometimes it's from the dyeing part, about the micron layer, from some part about the fiber length. So I think that we need to do more this kind of the communication, online or offline. Yeah, that's what I think now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Now I'll move you to Varun, please.
Yeah, thank you, Marcelo. So this Cotton Brazil Knowledge Hub is a central theme to whatever technical support we are trying to provide to the user mills, right? Spinning mills. So whatever we are going to do, whatever you have done in the past, and whatever is there in terms of technical knowledge is being shared on this Brazil Knowledge Hub and made available to everybody for download free of cost. The idea is that we can't reach to every single mill on a scalable basis until and unless we have a kind of a common platform. So one is that if you visit that website, please do register, because we have some our newsletters also. You can start getting those kind of information on a regular basis. And it's for the technical people also to go there. It's mainly for the technical people to understand what are the challenges. And you will realize that definitely there are challenges with Brazilian cotton. And in the discussion also, you have heard from everybody that nobody is denying that there are challenges. There are challenges related to it, but then there are solutions as well. So we have very much confidence in that, because people like Mr. Lee are using Brazilian cotton for long. Entire spinning units in Brazil are using it without any issues. In our perception study also, we had a kind of an extreme variation in responses. Some people said that sickness is very, very bad, we are not able to run. But then some people have really managed it very well. So we have tried to condense everything, all the findings, and put it in one place, that is the Knowledge Hub. And on top of it, if you just visit there and you don't find what you're looking for, and if you're looking for a very specific support or you need a very specific clarity, 24/7, you can just put in your query over there. Through email, you will be approached, and we'll try to understand if there's any value that we could add on your working. But the bottom line is that Brazil cotton is definitely different from other origins. And if we are trying to use the same parameters, same processes on Brazilian cotton, then the results are sometimes not what we want to achieve out of it. So with some little tweaking, some changes here and there are solutions to it, whether it is the performance or in terms of stickiness, whether it is performance in terms of dyeing. So those solutions do exist, and we are trying to bring them to all the spinning and dyeing value chain stakeholders. So please do use whatever the material is there, and if there is something which you want us to cover in future, in going forward, we'll be very happy to do.
Thank you, Varun. I really encourage you to use these tools. We have a WhatsApp community. I just shared in the group. Please use the WhatsApp, the link to join our WhatsApp community. We will be sharing a lot of technical information there, but that doesn't replace the Knowledge Hub. So go to the Knowledge Hub. The information will be more technical and can be tailored to your needs. So I would like to thank you all. And before the official closing, I would like to ask Fernando to make the final remarks and close this meeting, which I consider very successful. And I congratulate the speakers, congratulate you all, and thank you for participating. I think 3 per year will be not enough. I think we should be doing more, Mr. Varun. So Fernando, please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marcelo, for moderating this Q&A session. Great panel. I think that we addressed a lot of questions. But the positive notice is that we'll still have another Q&As planned for 2026. We have 2 more. So we will for sure the opportunity to answer another questions, to explore another scenarios. On behalf of all my colleagues, on behalf of Abrapa's Vice President, I would like to say thank you for all of you that participated with us. We had more than 240 people here from many origins. So thank you for trusting Brazilian Cotton. Thank you very much for participate on this. Thank you very much as well, Mr. Lee, for your kind participation. All was your team, Palak. And until August, success in your business and life. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.